Okay, time to block sand. So I just give this a quick scuff. This stuff is hard, and I hit it with 120 using the Eastwood, I'm not going to call it dust free, but certainly low dust block sanding solution. That's solid, that works good. But there's so much texture on here to start with. I think what I'm going to do is first break it with a compliant pad on a DA, and just I'm going to experiment a little bit with like half this trunk. Break it with that, before it starts turning gray, keeping it in the pink, and then work my way down after. Once I get it fairly smooth, then I'll block sand it and work it with that. So I'm going to give that a go first. I'm going to set up the DA with a compliant pad. So again, I'm just trying to break the surface, get it down to a point where I can start to block sand it and I'm not taking off the texture. So we'll give that a go and see what happens. Okay, that worked pretty good. So I hit it with the DA and a compliant pad. So you're not changing any contours with this, obviously. Then I scuffed it again, and you can start to see it come into it. You can see where it's gray, where it's still pink out here. Dangerously close to burning through my epoxy right there. A little bit of a high spot, but not much really. And then a little bit of a low spot right here. But boy, it's hard to even feel it. So, this dust system working great. It's not dusty at all. I'm gonna just continue doing this for a little bit. I'm gonna work on the trunk deck and probably that upper filler, and then work my way back down. Probably tackle this tail panel. There's gonna be a lot of hand sanding on that. Not much I can do about it, but just gotta be done. So, but yeah, that's kind of how it works. You can see the gray areas, and this trunk is very flat. I'm pretty impressed with it, actually. Like there's one, not sure if you can see that real well. Does that help? Probably not. One minor low spot right here, but I think it's being taken up by the polyester. It's that minor. There is a low spot here that will have to be filled a little bit, I think. And I'm not sure what I'm into up here yet. I can't really get tight into the corners with the big block. So I've got to switch to the smaller block, maybe open up the trunk, work that before I work the transitions into the other panel. So yeah, that's working out pretty good. I think I'm doing this right. Again, just cross hatching with that. Go this way and this way. The dust collection, I have to say, I forgot to turn it on once, and boy, you knew it. So, yeah, I'm going to keep working this and see what I get. All right, so been working the trunk and the upper parts of the quarters here. The change between the pink and the gray is more subtle than I thought it would be. It is more gray, you can see, but I also question if some of that isn't just my epoxy starting to show through. Doing the epoxy in black was a great idea, although it is still easy to burn through. So I will definitely seal coat this one more time with epoxy before I hit it with urethane primer. And I'm just marking low spots with tape. The trunk is remarkably good. I got a super minor high spots here, and here, but they're noise. I'm pretty sure I could even meld those out a little more. But I do have a low spot here, so this is the most significant high spot. The rest of them are super minor. So it works. I mean, you can see the difference in color from the pink up there to the gray here. This is true. They also say you don't want to leave any of the pink even in your low spots before you apply filler, you want to rough that out by hand. You know, we'll figure out how to do that when the time comes. But I'm gonna open the trunk now, get around in the gutter, because I did, you know, get some paint down in here, some of this polyester. Got to hand scuff that out now. And then I'm gonna move on to this tail panel. I guess, yeah, there's a good indication of the difference between the pink and the gray. It doesn't jump out at you. So, especially while you're doing it, it's a subtle change. So, but it works. I mean, this stuff is providing a super smooth surface. I think once I get this down, put the putty on it, get it down to about 220, this will block out nicely at that point. Again, I'm using 120 right now just to get it to you know, start showing low spots and high spots. And it's working. It just takes time. It takes a lot of time. So I'm gonna keep pushing at it, and I gotta take some more in here, obviously. But it is working. It does provide a super smooth finish. Feels nice. So then I'll start, once I get the tail panel done, I'll start moving down the quarters and see where I get. Okay, so yeah. So I got the tail panel, trunk deck, tops of the quarters done. If I knew then what I knew now, a couple things I would like to mention. When spraying this stuff on, you will save yourself a ton of time the smoother you can get it. It's very textured. I think you can kind of get an idea for it here. You spend most of your time just trying to get the texture out first before you start doing any good. So my recommendation would be a really high pressure. I would have gone up another 20 psi just to try to get that to atomize a little bit and lay flatter. The other thing is, I wouldn't, like, this tail panel is a very complicated piece. It's tough to even get a block on it, except for in a few areas. Areas where you can't get a block, this stuff is not that useful because you have to take it all down by hand. I'm 4 hours into just that tail panel, the trunk deck, the filler deck, and the tops of the quarters. So, I mean, it's coming out great. It's working perfectly. I have to say, it's super easy to see where all the defects are. It really gives you some confidence in what you got. But, like I said, get it on there flat. Don't let this stuff run amok with you, because you will, you just spend most of your time trying to get the texture down before you even start to do block sanding. So the color change, yeah, it works. I mean, you can see the difference between the pink and the gray, but it's actually kind of subtle. It doesn't jump right out at you as you're doing it. Guide coat is a little more effective, I think, in that area. I am going to probably go down a grit. Once I get, you know, some of my obviously low spots filled up, I've marked some with tape, and mostly in that filler panel is the only place I'm really finding anything. Then I'm going to block that out. Then I'll use guide coat to block that with the putty. Just keep working it that way. This is an excellent first step. I can see where I need to start, but you're still going to need guide coat on top of this when you start to go down in grits. So it's an interesting solution. It's a little pricey. It's working. I'm just not sure it's worth the amount of work you got to put into it. And I'm talking about the polyester high build Superbuild 4:1 by Evercoat. So I'm going to keep going. That's probably going to be it for today. However, I will hit some more of this tomorrow probably. Start down the quarter panels. Those should go a lot faster because I can use a decent sized block on those, right? And just, you know, It's the little detail-y stuff. The next nightmare is going to be that dash. That's gonna require a lot of hand sanding in there for sure. All of it, pretty much. So, anyway, it's working. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with what I got body-wise right now. I'm right where I expected to be. You can clearly start to work out what needs to be worked further, and that's cool. But like I said, it's not as slick as I thought it would be, I guess, is what I want to say. Would I do it again? Probably. Would I do it again? I would only do it again if I could get that to spray at a much smoother texture than that. This is like popcorn sealing, you know? So it's working. It's just a lot of work to grind, you know, cut that back off with that texture on. I think it would be so much nicer if it was just smooth. So I'm gonna keep going. I got a lot more to do. I'll head down both sides, hit the hood, then go inside the car, the door tops, quarter tops, dash, all of that needs to be done. Well, I think I'm gonna go through and just block sand everything out at the 120 that I'm using right now. Then I'll come back and start the filler work and slowly work my way around the car doing that, coming back to block sand, and I'll probably block sand down to about 220 over the filler work. And after that, next step will be another coat of epoxy to seal all that back in, cover up any bare metal spots, and I do have a few already. Then I will hit it with a high build urethane primer to do the final block sand. Again, this one's just to get you so you really understand where your bodywork's got to be, and it does fill. There are some low spots that this completely took care of, but you know, it is what it is. So that's where I'm at for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, whatever. I'm going to keep going on this. This is going to be a few days, probably 3 or 4 before I get this all done. But like I said, I've got 4 hours into it today, and that's about all I've got the will to do today. It's really nice out. I think I'm just going to go down and spend a little time around the house. So that will take care of it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is just part 1 of block sanding the polyester.